Lychees are not native to India. Most people don't know that. This fruit, now deeply associated with Indian summers, actually traveled thousands of kilometers from southern China, arriving in the country only around 200 years ago. And yet, in a small village near Muzaffarpur, in the Indian state of Bihar, that relatively recent arrival became something so central to local identity that the entire region is now known simply as the land of lychee. Every year, when the harvest begins, that small village transforms completely, hosting what locals proudly call one of the biggest lychee celebrations anywhere in the world. But here's the detail that makes the story far more interesting than it first appears. The fruit at the center of this entire celebration is so fragile, so unstable, that it can start losing its flavor within 24 hours of being picked. Which raises an obvious question. How did something this delicate become the foundation of an entire regional economy and a festival massive enough to draw international attention? To understand that, you need to go back to where the story actually starts, which isn't India at all. Lychees were first cultivated in southern China roughly 2000 years ago, prized there long before they ever touched Indian soil. From China, the fruit slowly made its way westward, reaching the Indian region of Tripura only around 250 years ago, and finally settling into the fertile, calcium-rich alluvial soil of Bihar about 2 centuries back. In historical terms, that's remarkably recent. Most crops that define a region's identity today took root over many centuries, sometimes millennia. Lychee did it in 200 years. And within that short window, the Muzaffarpur region managed to develop a variety so distinctive that it earned its own name, Shahi Lychee, meaning royal lychee, recognized specifically for its large size, thin skin, small seed, and a sweet, rose-like fragrance unlike other varieties grown elsewhere in the country. In 2018, that reputation became official when the Shahi Lychee received a geographical indication tag, a legal recognition confirming that this specific fruit, grown in this specific soil, under these specific conditions, cannot be genuinely replicated anywhere else in the world. Here's the first twist worth sitting with. Today, Bihar alone accounts for roughly 40% of India's entire lychee production, with the Muzaffarpur region producing around 300,000 tons of fruit every single year across more than 25,000 hectares of orchards. More than 5 million people across the region depend, directly or indirectly, on this one crop for their livelihood. The lychee trade generates somewhere between 300 and 500 crore rupees every season just within Muzaffarpur itself, with the fruit reaching major Indian cities like Delhi, Ahmedabad, Pune, and Hyderabad, and even making its way to markets in the Middle East and Europe. A fruit that arrived as a complete foreign newcomer just 200 years ago has become, in a remarkably short span, the economic backbone of an entire region, celebrated with a devotion that usually takes centuries to build. But the second twist is the one that explains why the festival itself has to move at such an intense, almost frantic pace every single year. Unlike most fruit that can sit comfortably in storage for weeks, Shahi Lychee has an extraordinarily short shelf life, lasting only 1 to 2 days at room temperature before its thin skin starts browning and its moisture escapes. Even under careful refrigeration, it holds for no more than a couple of weeks, and only specialized controlled atmosphere storage can stretch that window further. That fragility completely shapes how the entire celebration works. There's no slow, leisurely harvest season here. The moment the fruit ripens, everything happens at once. Picking, sorting, tasting, celebrating, and shipping, all compressed into an incredibly narrow window, because waiting even a few extra days can mean losing the crop's peak quality entirely. What looks, from the outside, like a joyful, colorful festival, full of music, sampling stalls, and proud farmers showing off their best harvest, is also, underneath, a race against the fruit's own biology. Interestingly, this isn't the only place on earth where a small region builds its entire yearly rhythm around the same fruit. On the other side of the world, in Guangdong, China, the birthplace of the lychee, a similar story plays out. Farmers there have cultivated the fruit for over 2,000 years, and the province today produces more than half of China's total lychee output, spread across hundreds of distinct varieties. Districts like Zhenqing have hosted their own massive annual lychee festival since 1990, drawing crowds for tastings, performances, and trade negotiations in scenes that echo, Almost exactly what now happens each year in that small Bihari village half a world away. Two very different cultures, separated by thousands of kilometers and centuries of history, somehow arrived at the same instinct. When a fruit this fleeting finally ripens, you don't quietly harvest it. You celebrate it, loudly, together, before it disappears again for another year. In the end, what makes this small village's lychee festival so remarkable isn't just the size of the celebration or the sweetness of the fruit itself. It's the fact that an entire community built its identity, its economy, and its yearly rhythm around something that barely has time to exist before it starts disappearing. A fruit that arrived as an outsider to centuries ago, took root in unfamiliar soil, and turned into something worth celebrating with everything a small village has to offer, precisely because it never sticks around for very long.